My question is twofold. One about the criticism that the center is stifling the voice of states by imposing restrictions on their borrowing limits and other things is one. That has been a frequent criticism these days. The second one is about the cesses and surcharges. You know, our government, at least Telangana government, is on record saying, you know, out of the 41% devolution made by the 15th Finance Commission, only 29.3 or 29.4% is coming to them, because the rest of 11% is going to the center's kitty in the form of cesses and surcharges. Can you elaborate on these two?
Your first question was on
States, restrictions on states' borrowing capacities.
there is an article in the Constitution, Article 293, which very clearly says that the center will look at states' borrowing, and during the pandemic we had expanded it, and when during the pandemic we had also to borrow and give the states, we had made sure that we do a back-to-back borrowing and give to the states for the GST compensation as well. States by constitution, because you're talking, saying states are saying this. And states quote, and rightly so, I have no complaints, states quote the constitution, saying center state. The article in the constitution gives the center the right to make sure that the borrowings are kept within a certain limit, and that limit is equally applied to all states. No one state can get more and the other one can get less. None of that happens. So the overall borrowing in this country will have to be in somebody's hands, and that is provisioned in the constitution, and that's exactly what we are doing. And to say that we are restricting them from borrowing, no. You want to have over and above what has been given as borrowing limit for your state, 3% then increased to 4% during the pandemic. So when the borrowing requirements of a state becomes far more than what has been allowed, there are voices coming saying you can't restrict me from borrowing. So there is a very well established over the last 70 years practice of, per the constitution, center looking at the borrowing limits of the states. It is not new. It has not come in 2014. It is not something which we have changed it to the disadvantage of the states. So that's my answer to your first question. The second, would you just remind me what was the second? 1 minute, on the 41%. It's all right for me to now read up as to how many this state has got, that state has got. In the parliament, on the cesses and surcharges, even during this budget speech discussion, I have shown how much more than what has been collected under one head of the cess, more has been dispersed to the states even under that head. So if I collect only, say, 1.5 crores, there are instances, this is not the exact number, I am giving you an example. There are instances where beyond the 1.5 crores, 1.5 thousand crores that I have collected, I have given up to 2,000 crores. Drawing from the consolidated fund, because that scheme for which it's been collected, because it's, let's say, education or health cess, we give it. And similar is the case also with the compensation cess. So, you know, repeatedly when states come up with these charges, and repeatedly, not any random place but in the parliament, I have given answers, and I humbly request the media, you may ask me any number of times, I may answer any number of times. How is it that you don't refer what has been given as an answer? I assume you have not. Parliament may, this was given as a reply. Over and above this, do you still hold that charge? You should ask them. Parliament is not a place where you can forget the answer given. It's the fundamentally primary and highest place in a democracy, elected parliamentary democracy, where I'm standing up to give the answers with the data in my hand. I would humbly request the media, pause it and say, is it true? Is this answer not right?